Hello everybody, my name is Nathan Wheeler, if you don't know me already. I'm making this video, my very first online video ever, because I'm being requested to by the people who know me. Recently I have experienced something very unique that most people haven't experienced, which is that I have died, went to the other side, and have come back. And if I knew me, I would be asking the exact same question I get. And so I've been asked to make this video telling my story of what happened. This actually is a video that I shot while in the hospital. The one you're about to watch, I'm going to play it for you. And it will tell the story best. I had to cut a lot of things out of it because it presents so many more questions that I don't want to leave you confused. I just want to give you the general experience that I had while I was in the hospital and the general experience I had while on the other side, and then I want to make more videos explaining the details. And so I guess without further ado, this is video number 1 of a channel I'm making called Truth Me Free, and that name will be self-explanatory as time goes on. But here's the first video. Enjoy. Hello everybody, my name is Nathan. If you're watching this and don't know who I am, I'm a guy who just had quite an experience with his heart and just had a pacemaker put in. I am 34 years old, so I guess that's pretty uncommon. I thought this video would just be an easier way for me to kind of tell everybody what's been going on with me and address some of the rumors that are out there already stirring and just make sure everything gets cleared up. I started having my heart issues 2 years ago while I was living in Texas. I have been to the ER about 10 times for it, and I keep getting sent away. I honestly believe it has to do with the fact that I have no health insurance. They keep telling me that I have, yes, a strange heartbeat, an arrhythmia, a premature beat, and that it's no big deal and people live with them all the time. My heart has caused me to pass out, almost pass out, have immense chest pains, and they tell me I'm fine. Or I am experiencing a heart issue that the world's never seen before, and I don't think that is it, but maybe, you never know. Let's skip to right now. So 3 days before I came into the ER, I began to feel chest pains while I was editing the new web series we just finished called Down with David. Well, on the third morning, I woke up at around 7:30. My heart was beating so weird but so hard that it was causing my chest to literally like move. It looked like I was having muscle spasms. Now, I failed to mention that out of the 10 times I've been to the ER for this heart issue of mine, not once have I ever packed my bags to stay overnight. But this time, there was honestly this little voice that said to me, pack your stuff, you're going to be getting admitted. I'm like, huh, alright. So I followed the little voice in my head, I grabbed my stuff, packed my stuff, and I came. I went inside the ER, like I said, I was there for an hour waiting in the lobby. And eventually one of my other friends that were with me was bitching and complaining so much that they ended up giving me a room finally. But I was in that room for a half an hour before a nurse came. And again, that voice came to me and said, you need to have somebody monitor you right now. So I called the nurse on the little intercom and I said, hey, I'm here for heart issues. I really believe you guys should be monitoring me. Please come and put a monitor on me. She's like, oh, that's a good idea. I was like, yeah, isn't it? I thought so too. So she comes, she puts a monitor on me. No less than 5-10 minutes later, maybe another nurse comes in to take blood. And again, she's telling me the same thing. Oh, you look fine. You should be able to go home, but we'll take a little bit of blood just to make sure there's no heart damage. Same thing I always hear. She puts a rubber band around my arm. She goes to take blood. Next thing you know, I'm fainting, or at least I think I'm fainting. Turns out I'm dying. While I was on the other side, let's finally address that question. Now, I had a little bit of a different experience. I was in a place that was made of like white marble stone and had like gold leaf pillared kind of thing, so it looked heavenly. There was an extremely bright white light that did not hurt to look at, and there was no source. There was no like sun in the sky or anything like that. The white light was just everywhere. But ironically enough, I had 4 people around me yelling at me. It's like, of course I would be in this heaven-like place and people are yelling at me, right? And one of the guys, he was the biggest guy. He was like 8 feet tall, but all like proportionate, like he was big buff looking kind of dude. He was yelling at me and he was basically saying, you got to go to work, you have work to do, this and that. And as he was yelling at me for like what felt like 25 minutes, all of a sudden this like vortex opened to the left of me and I got sucked into it. And as I was getting sucked into it, I woke up back in this world. And as I woke up back in this world, there was like a doctor and a nurse standing above me, and they were, you know, just looking at me with these stares like,
what the hell just happened to this guy? And the one doctor, or the nurse to my right, says, Nathan, are you with us? And I didn't even comprehend who I was or where I was. To me, this was a foreign place, and the world I had just come from was the place I knew. I didn't have an understanding what the hell was going on. And as I did start to come to my senses, I heard the nurse who was the one taking blood or about to take blood say to me, that was the longest I've ever seen one go. That's just not a sentence you want to wake up to after that whole experience. And turns out that I was gone for about 30 plus seconds. And I came back on my own without a defibrillator. So in my mind, that's a complete miracle. And in the doctor's mind, they said they'd never seen anything like that. Not for 30 seconds. They say it's actually normal. They call it a pause. If you're gone for like 5, 6, 8 seconds. Sometimes they've seen extreme like 10, 20 seconds. But supposedly I beat the hospital record at 30. So, yeah. Who dies and comes back 30 seconds later? This guy right here. This guy does that kind of thing. So, hey, what can I say? All right, when I go big, I'll go home. That's just how it is. To finish the story, they ended up realizing that I had a heart issue. Can you believe that? They're like, wow, your heart doesn't beat right. I was like, no way. I had no idea. Crazy. So they ended up putting a pacemaker in me. And and now I'm this 34-year-old dude with a pacemaker. They did an emergency surgery. That's my story. That's where I'm at. I seem to be okay now. And I don't want anybody to worry about me, and I want to say thank you all very much. The cards, the flowers, the emails, the text messages, the comments on Facebook, your encouragement, your love, positive thoughts and prayers, I thank you so much because it really encouraged me. And I obviously had a lot to think about in my life, having this event happen. So thank you again. God bless.
So there you have it. That's my story. Maybe you find it interesting, maybe you find it entertaining, maybe you find it true, maybe you think I'm lying. Maybe you think I'm delusional and that the whole thing was a dream. The mind breaking down and special organisms and chemicals being released into the brain to make me think that I was having this heavenly experience, but it wasn't really happening. I know that what I experienced was real, and I know that I came back without drugs and without being defibrillated. I know that I didn't die from any trauma, but I died for basically no reason that anybody can explain. My heart just stopped. Obviously I have a heart issue, but it just stopped, and I knew it was coming. 3 hours before it happened, I knew it was coming. This has never happened before, but when it did, I knew. And I've always wondered, are people who do die, do they know? Is there a sense that it's coming? Have you ever wondered that? Am I the only person? I think other people have wondered that before, right? And I did. I knew. That's what I was saying in the video. I packed my bags because I knew that I was going to end up staying overnight. I knew something was going to happen that was going to be really bad. And 5 minutes before they hooked up the machine to me, I called the nurse because I knew. I knew my heart was going to stop. And it's why I knew. It's how I knew. That is the most important part of whatever it is that I have to tell you. God is real. Heaven is absolutely real. And that means that hell is too. And I'm not gonna even talk about the hell part because that's not the message I have. The message I have is how wonderful and amazing heaven is. And how I feel as though I've kind of stolen a piece of heaven and brought it back with me to earth. And I feel that every time I share my story with somebody, I'm able to break up a piece of that heaven off and hand it to them. And it is the greatest gift I could imagine any human being ever having. So I want to share it with every single human being I can on planet Earth. And I thought that this medium and this tool, I think it's absolutely a wonderful tool, and I don't think that it's coincidence that this tool exists in this day and age when the world is the way that it is. So leave your comments, your post, share this with your friends, your families, share it on your Facebook or whatever social media sites that you might have. Give it thumbs up. And either way, whether you believe, whether you don't believe, whether you have questions, or you don't have questions but you have thoughts, please, I want to know. Because it's going to tell me what things you're interested in about my story, about the information that I have to share with you. And I'll know a better way of presenting it to you from future videos to come. Okay? Thank you very much for watching. I'm Nathan Wheeler. This is Truth Me Free. The Bible says, you shall know the truth, and it shall set you free. And I can tell you that is absolutely the truth.